Well, welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have a trinity of individuals who are here to talk about PARC. And we want to make sure that you understand it's PARC. And what it stands for is Public Art, put my glasses on, Reaching Community. And let's find out what it is. Please join me in welcoming Rebecca Solverson. How are you, my dear?
Great, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. It's good to see your little smiley face. And if people have forgotten who you are, let's remind that you are a public art specialist for the city of Tacoma, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
You brought with you two amazing individuals. The first one here, Elisheba Johnson, you are a mentor artist and mailing me that necklace before the show ends.
Yes, you can have it.
Well, if you made it, then I want to know where I can buy it. How's that? And then above you, the man with the dimples, Gerardo Peña. You are also an artist. And I want to say thank you, all three of you, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. All right, Rebecca. So I gave us the acronym of what is public art reaching community, but you have to answer the question. So what is it?
So PARC is a program that we are partnering with Metro Parks Tacoma on. It is a training program for Tacoma area artists because public art is really hard to break into. So it's a training program to help these artists break into it and also to help us strengthen the diversity and the talent pool of Tacoma area artists, to help get art projects into different areas in Tacoma, and to help us develop a group of artists who can speak to some of the civic needs and issues of the day that we're dealing with, which, as we all know, are many. We need artists to help us with that.
Oh, that was beautifully said. So beautifully said, because our world needs to be healed through art, but we need the art to speak to us. So why are you doing these installations?
So these installations are part of that training program, which is a really important part. So this is a way that artists can get their hands dirty and actually create a project that they have to implement themselves and learn about what it's like to actually create work in the public realm and everything that goes with it. So the benefit that the community gets from that is we get all these wonderful installations throughout the city as well. So we have 12 really great projects that are happening both in person and online too, from these artists. And you'll hear a little bit about some of those projects today and meet one of the artists who's actually done a project.
I love that. So Elisheba, why are temporary artworks a part of the training as opposed to permanent artworks?
Yeah, I mean, actually the vision is that the artist will have the opportunity to have a permanent project sometime in the future. But we really wanted to, just like Rebecca said, get their feet wet, give them their first temporary project. And temporary projects actually sometimes are more meaningful for people because permanent projects usually have to last the life of a bond. So that's 30 years, which means, you got to do it in steel or bronze, right? But you can do something that's like, ephemeral, like balloons in the air or whatever. And so I think you'll see a lot of these artists experimenting with materials, one, because of COVID-19, but two, because they have the flexibility with it being a temporary project.
Fabulous, fabulous. So Rebecca, back to you then. What projects have already been installed since we're on the cusp of Art Month?
Yes, so there's 3 out of the 12 have already been completed. The first was by Jillian Nordland called Flag Parade, and she worked with a Hilltop preschool to create flags and then do a really sweet parade around the neighborhood that ended at Neighbors Park. I got to go with my 2-year-old. He loved it. It was a lot of fun. Jessica Spring did a project called You'll Heal Tacoma, which is going to be making another appearance during Art Month. And that was, I think you may be hearing about it during this program possibly, but it's 300 posters that she installed, spell out You'll Heal Tacoma at Stanley Playfield, and it's an interactive piece so people can leave their own experience of how they'll heal. And then Gerardo Peña aka Perico the artist, is here as well to tell you about his installation called I Love All of You, which was up from September 10th through the 30th at First United Methodist Church.
All right, so Gerardo, that's your cue. Tell us about I Love All of You.
Well, first, like Alicia said, that these programs gives us an opportunity to experiment. So this was the first time I wanted to work with lights and electricity. So this whole pandemic thing made me feel like I wanted to scream on top of a rooftop. And originally it was just for the pandemic. So it was, I miss all of you. And the megaphone was paper mache, and it has the letters that spell out Tacoma. It's like Tacoma screaming it out to its community. But I switched it to I Love All of You because of everything else that's happened after that and how a little positivity can go a long way.
So what made you interested in participating in the PARC program?
Well, I had worked with Rebecca in a similar program before, and when that happened, it was kind of like the beginning of my public art career. So I wanted to see what this would bring, you know? And I also really liked to use these art projects to experiment and try to see where I could go next. And I also love making the connections with the artists I get to work with.
What a beautiful journey that is. So, Elisheba, we know that COVID has impacted every aspect of our lives. I loved it when Gerardo said he wanted to stand on the roof and scream. I watched all of us nod our heads because, of course, you couldn't see off camera. What adjustments did you have to make your plans as the pandemic hit? Because we all stopped.
Yeah, Rebecca was in it with me. This program was supposed to be in person, and then the projects were all supposed to be at metro parks, around Tacoma. So very quickly we realized that we needed to move the program online, and then we had to kind of adjust that. How do you teach something that is public art that's about outside, in the computer, right? So adding supplemental materials, things like that. Giving people time to really talk about what they're going through, to grieve. And we really just try to be flexible because people are at home with their kids trying to take this class when they thought, they would have childcare or something like that. But also, like, a lot of the artists had to really change their thinking because they thought they would be installing in a park, and some are, but some also decided to do something online. There's videos, and really responding to the moment. And I think all of the artists kind of lived up to that charge. For sure.
I love that. So what do you hope participating artists will get out of this training program?
Oh, I hope they get excited about being with community. I mean, you look at Gerardo's artwork, right? And people are so excited to see it. And it's this moment of humanity, and that's what art does for us. And I hope that they are emboldened to keep making work outside, work that gets people together in safe ways, and to see that they don't have to just have their work in a gallery.
Oh, I love that. It really opens up their vision, doesn't it? That the world becomes a canvas. So, Gerardo, for you, you mentioned you had worked with some of these people before, but what did you learn in this training program, and how will it affect you in terms of how you view the future?
During the program, they invite other artists who have been there, done that kind of thing. So learning from other artists who have been there and have become, more established is extremely meaningful because they teach you how to do the proposals, how to handle budgeting. And I come from a business management background, and learning how different an art proposal is was extremely important for me to know.
Oh, absolutely, because that's not something that you think about when you're picking out mediums or pigments or something. It's just you're in the moment. But yeah, being able to sell yourself and to be sustainable, that is huge. Okay, so Elisheba, what are you looking forward to in terms of what we're going to see in October, but we don't know it yet?
Well, obviously all of them are really incredible. And like I said, it was interesting because they have all different mediums, so Jessica Spring, for example, is a printmaker. And so seeing her artwork outside and her really figuring out how to transfer her practice has been really exciting, and doing something that's really impactful for this moment. One of our artists, Paige Pettibon, is an Indigenous artist, and Canoe Journey was canceled because of COVID-19. And so she went and talked to a lot of people in her tribe, and she'll be releasing a video about the loss of not being able to do Canoe Journey. Monica Yee is doing a Korean newspaper, that is really tapping into the fact that her parents' church was a hub for them, that now that they can't go to church, and is going to distribute that. So there's all these incredible projects with artists really thinking creatively about, again, how to engage with their community, uplift them, but also safely in this moment.
Well said. What is it that makes our community parks particularly special and natural places for public art, in your opinion?
Oh, me. I was like, Rebecca.
I want to hear you on this one.
Well, I guess I'll get a little nerdy for a minute, but I think there's theory and practice around the importance of parks in neighborhoods and the importance of parks as public space. And so there's urban planners that, really think about where those should be situated. And I think you can look at the inequity of public space, right? Where there's more white and higher income people, there's more parks, right? And I think we all need places to take our kids, our dogs, to relax. And now, again, in this moment, that's the safest place you can be, is outside in a park, right? So I think, again, this program is really steeped in equity, in access, and how everybody being able to enjoy the outdoors.
So beautifully said. My favorite park, I shout it from the rooftops, is Wright Park. And yes, it has a lot of beautiful aesthetic advancements going for it. But the reason why I love it is because it sits right in the precipice of Tacoma. And everybody comes together in that park. That's the park I raised my daughter in. And I have wonderful memories of summertime wading pools and sandwiches and theater in the park and watching basketball pickup games. That grounded us. So I want to say, yeah, when it comes to outdoor spaces and parks. Rebecca, where can we find more information before I have to say goodbye to all three of you?
So you can find more information about this program at metroparkstacoma.org/about/public-art about parks specifically. You can also follow Metro Parks Tacoma or Tacoma Arts on Facebook and Instagram. And then we'll also be promoting several of these projects through Tacoma Arts Month. So that's at tacomaartsmonth.com.
Beautifully said. Thank you, all three of you, for your artist heart, for your heart for this community, and for your love of healing, because that's what you're teaching on a daily basis. So I say thank you so much as we start Art Month, and get some rest. And I want to see you back here soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have much more to come on Cityline, so don't go away. We'll be right back.